What do you have to say for yourself then, Captain?
Are you going to kill me?
You have made your bet, so now you must lie in it.
I know thee loved Emily.
Our souls weren't meant to be one.
You do not trust him.
I cannot say whether it is him I do not trust.
Okay, so let's start from the very beginning, because the trailer opens and immediately throws us right into the chaos of the Siege of Savannah. And honestly, I was not prepared for how intense this looks. We already knew from the episode 4 ending and the synopsis that the siege was coming, but actually seeing it play out in the trailer is a completely different feeling. The scale of it is massive. This is not some small skirmish or a quick confrontation. This is a full-blown war situation happening right outside the walls of Savannah, and everyone we love is either inside it or dangerously close to it. And that is what makes this so terrifying, because we are not just watching strangers fight a historical battle. We are watching people we have followed for 8 seasons get caught right in the middle of it. Now let's talk about Roger, because his situation in this trailer genuinely stressed me out. As we already knew, Roger was essentially forced into joining the American side of this war, and he had no real choice in the matter. But seeing it in the trailer makes it feel so much more real and so much more dangerous. Roger is not a soldier by nature. He is not someone who is built for this kind of violence and chaos. And yet, here he is, right in the middle of one of the most brutal sieges of the entire Revolutionary War. What really got me, though, is the fact that Bree is on the other side. Not the other side in terms of being his enemy, obviously, but she is with Lord John Grey, and that puts her in a completely different position during this siege. The synopsis literally told us that Roger and Bree will find themselves on opposite sides of the conflict, and seeing that visualized in the trailer made my stomach drop a little. These two have already been through so much together. They have survived time travel, they have survived loss, they have survived being separated across centuries. And now, in the final season, they are being pulled apart again, this time by a war that is happening right around them. I think they will get through this. I genuinely believe this couple is going to make it to the end together. But the road getting there is clearly not going to be easy, and this trailer makes that very clear. But here's the thing that really stood out to me about the Savannah siege portion of the trailer. It is not just about the physical danger. It is about what this siege represents for every single character caught in it. For Roger, it is about proving something. He went to get weapons for Jaime, he got pulled into this war instead, and now he has to fight his way through it just to get back to the people he loves. For Bree, being with Lord John Grey during this siege puts her in a position where she has to be strong, not just for herself, but for the people around her. And honestly, Bree has always been one of the strongest characters in this entire show, even when the writing did not always give her the credit she deserved. Seeing her navigate this situation in episode 5 is something I am genuinely looking forward to. And then there is Lord John Grey himself, who is stuck in the middle of all of this, while also dealing with his complicated feelings about William and his relationship with Jaime. There are so many emotional layers happening at the same time during this siege, and the trailer does a brilliant job of making you feel all of them at once, without even spelling everything out directly. That is honestly the mark of a really well-made trailer, and I think episode 5 itself is going to deliver on every single thing this trailer is promising. One more thing I need to mention about this opening section of the trailer before we move on. The atmosphere, the visuals, the way everything looks so dark and desperate and urgent. This final season has always had a certain weight to it, a feeling that things are building towards something enormous, and the Siege of Savannah in this trailer feels like the moment where that weight finally starts to come crashing down. Every frame of the siege in this trailer felt deliberate. It felt like the show is telling us that there is no going back now. The war is here, it is real, and everyone we love is standing right in the middle of it, with no guarantee of how they come out on the other side. Now let's talk about Jaime, because honestly, the Jaime portion of this trailer is what completely took my breath away. The synopsis says that Jaime confronts his demons at Lodge Night, and I know that sounds like it could mean many things, but after watching this trailer, I think I have a pretty good idea of what we are about to see, and it is not going to be easy to watch. Jaime Fraser has carried so much through this entire show. The weight of his past, the weight of his responsibilities, the weight of being a leader when everything around him is falling apart. And now, in the final season, with the Battle of King's Mountain looming over everything, those demons are not staying buried anymore. They are coming to the surface, and episode 5 seems to be the moment where Jaime has to face them head-on, whether he wants to or not. What really got me about the Jaime moments in this trailer is how different he looks. And I do not mean physically, I mean emotionally. There is something in his expression throughout these scenes that feels heavier than anything we have seen from him before. Jaime has always been someone who pushes through. Someone who takes the pain and keeps moving because he has to, because people are depending on him, because giving up is simply not something Jaime Fraser does. But in this trailer there is a moment, just a brief moment, where you can see that the weight of everything is starting to crack through that armor. And that is terrifying, because if Jaime is starting to crack, then things must be even more serious than we thought. And then there is Mr. Cunningham, because of course there is. As we saw in episode 4, Mr. Cunningham has officially revealed himself as a villain, and honestly, the speed of that transformation still shocks me a little. But in this trailer, he is making his first real move against Jaime, and it is not subtle. This is not someone playing political games from a safe distance anymore. Mr. Cunningham is coming directly for Jaime, and he is doing it at a moment when Jaime is already dealing with so much. That is what makes this so dangerous. It is not just that Mr. Cunningham is a threat. It is that he is choosing his moment very carefully. He is waiting until Jaime is already burdened and distracted, and then he is striking. That is not just aggression, that is strategy, and it makes Mr. Cunningham feel like a genuinely terrifying villain, in a way that I was not fully expecting when this season started. And Mrs. Cunningham. I have to talk about Mrs. Cunningham because after episode 4, I genuinely thought maybe she was different. Maybe she was the one Cunningham who was not completely lost. She had that moment with Claire where she seemed almost protective. But then the trailer shows us her saying that Jaime deserves to be executed, and I felt that like a punch. Because it means we cannot trust any of them. Not a single Cunningham. And the fact that Claire had started to build even a small amount of trust with Mrs. Cunningham makes this betrayal feel even more personal. Claire is going to be devastated when she realizes that the woman she thought might be an ally is actually just as dangerous as her husband. And knowing Claire, that devastation is going to turn into something fierce very quickly. So what does all of this mean for Jaime in episode 5? I think we are going to see him pushed to his absolute limit. Between the psychological weight of confronting his demons at Lodge Night and the very real physical threat coming from Mr. Cunningham, Jaime is walking into episode 5 from every direction at once. And while I do not think we are going to see a serious injury or death just yet, because Claire's blue light ability is clearly being set up for something much bigger later in the season, I do think we are going to see Jaime in more danger than he has been in a very long time. The kind of danger that makes you grip the edge of your seat and forget to breathe. Let's shift over to William and Amaranthus, because this trailer gave us some moments between them that I am still thinking about, and honestly, I have so many feelings about where this storyline is going. In episode 4, we saw how quickly their connection was developing, and I mentioned that it felt almost too fast. Well, this trailer did absolutely nothing to calm that feeling down. If anything, it made it worse in the best possible way. Because now I am even more convinced that there is something underneath this relationship that we have not been shown yet. Something that is going to change everything we think we know about Amaranthus and what she actually wants from William. Because here is the thing, everything on the surface looks wonderful. William is clearly falling for her. The way he looks at her in this trailer, the way their conversations feel so natural and easy, it genuinely does look beautiful. And I want to be happy about it. I want to just let myself enjoy this relationship and root for these two people to find happiness together. But I cannot fully do that because Ben is not dead. We know Ben is not dead, and William knows Ben is not dead. So why is he not telling Amaranthus? That is the question that keeps pulling me back, because it feels like such an important detail that the show is deliberately holding on to for a reason. William keeping that secret is not just a character choice, it is a plot choice. And whatever that secret is building toward is clearly going to land in episode 5, or very close to it. What I find most interesting about Amaranthus in this trailer is the way she carries herself. There is something almost too composed about her, too certain. Most people who have just lost a husband, or believe they have lost a husband, carry a kind of grief that shows up in unexpected moments, even when they are moving forward. But Amaranthus does not really show that. She is present, she is warm, she is clearly interested in William. But the grief feels almost absent, and that absence is starting to feel very deliberate to me. I think Amaranthus knows more than she is letting on. I think there is a plan underneath all of this warmth, and I think episode 5 is going to start pulling back that curtain in a way that is going to genuinely shock us. Now I want to talk about the sibling dynamic between William and Bree, because even in the middle of all this war and drama and romantic tension, that relationship continues to be one of the most quietly beautiful things in this final season. Bree has been so patient with William, so generous. She did not have to go to Lord John Grey and try to help repair that relationship. She did not have to have those long, honest conversations with William about Jaime. But she did it anyway, because that is who Bree is. And William is slowly responding to that. You can see it in this trailer. He is not fully there yet. He has not completely accepted Jaime. But the wall is coming down, brick by brick, and Bree is the one making that happen. And there is something genuinely moving about watching that process unfold in real time. I think episode 5 is going to give us a significant moment in the William and Jaime storyline as well. We have been building toward William fully accepting Jaime as his father for the entire season, and I feel like we are getting very close to that moment. Whether it happens in episode 5 specifically, or slightly later, the groundwork is clearly being laid, and the trailer hints at something emotional coming in that relationship. When that moment finally arrives, it is going to be one of the most powerful scenes of the entire final season. I am already bracing myself for it. Now I really need to talk about Ian and Rachel, because the trailer gives us a glimpse into their storyline. And honestly, after everything they went through in episode 4, seeing where they are headed in episode 5 filled me with both excitement and a very specific kind of dread that I cannot fully shake. As we already knew, Ian and Rachel learned that the natives in the north were in trouble, and Ian is worried about Emily and Ian James. So they are heading north. And in the trailer, we can see that this journey is already becoming complicated in ways that feel very dangerous. Ian is one of those characters who has always lived between two worlds. He belongs with Rachel and their new baby. He belongs with Jaime and the Fraser family. But he also carries this deep connection to the Mohawk people that never fully goes away, no matter how much time passes. And now, with trouble brewing in the north, that connection is pulling him in a direction that could put everything he has built with Rachel at risk. What I love about Ian as a character is that he never makes these decisions lightly. He feels every single one of them deeply. And heading north right after his baby was born, right when his family finally felt complete and settled, is clearly not a decision he made without a tremendous amount of inner conflict. Rachel, on the other hand, is someone who loves Ian completely, but also understands that she married a man who carries more than one life inside him. She knew this about him. She accepted it. But knowing something and living through it when it is actually happening are two very different things. And in this trailer, there is a tension between Ian and Rachel that feels new. Not hostile, not angry, but the kind of quiet tension that comes from two people who love each other deeply, but are facing something that tests the limits of that love in unexpected ways. I think episode 5 is going to put Ian and Rachel through something genuinely difficult. Not a break, not a betrayal, but a test. The kind of test that either makes a relationship stronger or reveals fractures you did not know were there. And then there is the action side of this northern storyline, because the trailer makes it very clear that whatever is happening with the natives in the north is not a small situation. This is not something Ian can ride in and solve quietly. There is real danger there, real conflict. And Ian, who is already carrying the weight of being a new father and a loyal member of Jaime's militia during a time of war, is walking into that danger anyway because that is just who Ian Murray is. He has never been able to turn away from people who need him. It is the most defining thing about his character, and it is also the thing that keeps putting him in impossible situations. What I am most curious about in this part of the episode is what we are going to learn about Emily and Ian James. Their relationship with Ian has always been one of the most emotionally complex threads in this entire show. Emily moved on. Ian moved on. But that history does not disappear just because life moved forward. Seeing Ian heading back north while Rachel is by his side with their newborn baby creates a situation that is so emotionally loaded that I honestly do not know how the show is going to handle it without breaking our hearts a little. And I think that is exactly what they are going for. Episode 5 is clearly not letting anyone rest, not even for a moment.